Good afternoon. My name is Rob Misey, and welcome to my continuing series on international tax issues. Now, some of you might be wondering, what's this black thing around my neck? Well, my arm is in a sling because I broke my elbow ice skating 10 days ago. I broke my elbow real bad. It just goes to show that the only time I'm comfortable with ice, it's when it's in my bourbon. So keep that in mind as hopefully you won't go skating much as the winter weather winds down. But I want to talk about international tax issues, and I want to talk about grouping to maximize IC disc savings. We should all know by now how an IC disc works. An IC disc is a corporation that, if we do it right, we cross our T's and dot our I's, doesn't pay any tax. So if the individual owners of an S corporation who are currently taxed at a 37% rate form an IC disc, the money they receive from the IC disc as a dividend are qualified dividends. It's the old game we used to play of converting ordinary income into capital gains, except now it's taxable income to qualified dividends. So now, remember, the bigger the commission, the bigger the benefit. There are primarily two ways by which you can determine the commission, either 4% of export receipts or 50% of taxable income from exports. We typically use 4% of export receipts for low margin products, less than 8%. We typically use 50% of taxable income from exports for high margin products, those greater than 8%. But the thing I want you to remember about commission is we can group to maximize commissions. We can mix and match. So suppose, speaking of bourbon, we export bourbon and vodka, 5 million of each for a total of $10 million. If we did the 4% of export receipts method, our commission would be $400,000. If we did taxable income from exports, we see that we have total taxable income of $1.2 million. Half of that is $600,000. We've increased our commission from $400,000 to $600,000. That's the $200,000 difference, a bigger benefit. However, we can mix and match. We see that the bourbon is a high margin product. If we look in red, we do 50% of the 1 million taxable income from exports. That's $500,000. But we don't have to do taxable income from exports for vodka, a low margin product. We can do 4% of 5 million. That's $200,000. Our total commission is now $700,000. We have increased the benefit. There are lots of ways to group to maximize your commissions. Some of the bigger firms even have transaction by transaction software. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you joining me. I look forward to seeing you next time. Stay away from the ice.